and welcome to your Bangla City SATV News. This is Nahin Tahir with the headlines. During Army League tenure, the spread of mass media has increased, said Prime Minister confers National Filmfare Award 2020. Titash proposes to increase gas price by 20%. BERC chairman calls for consideration of rationality in public hearing. Russia warns of nuclear weapons in case of crisis. Zelensky to address NATO summit tomorrow. Biden heads to Europe. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said that the film can make a huge contribution to social reform. He said this while addressing a meeting organized at the Bangla International Conference Center on the occasion of National Filmfare Award 2020 from Gaurav Bhavan. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said that the film can make a huge contribution to social reform. She said that the spread of mass media has increased during the tenure of Awami League government. She further said that cinema plays an important role in awakening people's sense of responsibility towards the country and the nation. Therefore, she called upon all come forward for development of the industry. The film Gore has won awards in the top 11 categories at this year's event. Actress Anwara Begum and actor Raisul Islam Asad have jointly received the Lifetime Achievement Award. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina stressed elevating bondage to strategic level through cooperation in new areas between Bangladesh and three Nordic countries. She came up with the opinion when the three Nordic countries envoy posted in Dhaka. Ambassador of Norway, Denmark and Sweden paid a courtesy call on the premiere. The envoy meets the Prime Minister at the latter's official Gaurav Bhavan residence here, marking 50 years of diplomatic relation between Bangladesh and the three Nordic countries. The diplomat assured the Premier of providing continued assistance in the economic development of Bangladesh. Besides, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will participate in the 5th BIMSTEC summit virtually, which will be held on March 30th in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. The heads of government of the member countries will also participate in it in a virtual manner, said the Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen while he was addressing a press conference at the Ministry of External Affairs on the sideline of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multisectoral Technical Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC. He said 4 important documents would be adopted by the leaders at the summit. Titash has proposed to increase the price of gas at home by 20%. The company is in favor of making one stove 990 taka and two stove 1080 taka for cooking in the capital. At the same time, additional rates are proposed for CNG factories and other sectors. At the beginning of the hearing, the BERC chairman said that if the price of gas goes up, it will have an impact in all cases. So he called for rationality. Public hearing on the proposal to increase the price of gas has been going on for the last 3 days. The BERC chairman also expressed displeasure with Bangla for not being able to come up with a satisfactory argument in favor of raising the price. In view of the continuous dip in the coronavirus cases, the Home Ministry has decided to end its all COVID-19 containment measures from March 31st. However, wearing of masks and maintaining social distancing norms will continue as earlier. The central government had on 24/2020 issued for the first time orders and guidelines under the Disaster Management Act for the containment of COVID-19 in the country, which have been modified on the various occasions later. Over the last 7 weeks or so, there has been a steep decline in the number of cases, the authorities said. After the expiry of the existing order on March 31st, no further order will be issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs. The government is going to formulate a new law to regulate bus services using the franchise system, which is expected to bring discipline in Dhaka's public transport sector. Dhaka Transport Coordination Authority (DTCA) under Road Transport and Highways Division has taken the initiative to enact the law. A pilot project for the franchise system already kicked off in the city last year. Under the system, buses of all companies in a particular zone or line will have to run under a single company, and the revenue is shared among all companies. Representatives of different agencies under the division were asked to participate in the meeting. The franchise system will ensure that bus drivers do not engage in unhealthy competition for more passengers, which is a major reason behind accidents and traffic congestion. Viewers, we are taking a short break. Stay with Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back, and you're watching Bangla City SATV News. Now we bring international stories updates. At least 11 people were charred to death in a major fire that broke out at the scrap godown in the southern Indian city of Hyderabad in the early hours today. The blaze began on the ground floor of the two-story godown around 3 and soon engulfed the entire building. Within minutes, as many as 9 fire tenders were pressed into service, but it took them nearly 3 hours to douse the flames. Some 12 workers were fast asleep on the first floor of the godown when the blaze began, and by the time the fire was doused, 11 of them were burned alive. Police said the victims were all migrant workers from the eastern state of Bihar. Hundreds of thousands are reported to be trapped in the besieged Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the peace negotiations with Russia are moving forward, even though it's very difficult and sometimes even confrontational. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to apply more sanctions against Russia after jointly talks with the Western leaders of the NATO summit later this week. Dalia Nilfor has the report.
A city reduced to ashes. Russian airstrikes hit the Ukrainian port of city of Mariupol, home to 450,000 people. Ukrainian officials said that the strikes came a day after Ukraine rejected Russia's demand to surrender. Meantime, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said about 100,000 are trapped in Mariupol, running short of food and water and under constant threat of bombardment. The same dire situation continues in Kherson, a city in the south of Ukraine that Russia captured earlier this month. Ukraine's foreign minister said that 300,000 in Kherson are running out of food. However, President Zelensky is expected to ask for more help from the West to NATO summit on Thursday in Brussels, which will also be attended by US President Joe Biden. Meanwhile, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said President Biden will work with America's allies to enforce more sanctions against Russia and tighten the existing ones. After the meeting, Biden is scheduled to travel to Ukraine's neighboring country, Poland, in a show for support. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has gone on now for almost 4 weeks since its first strike, and Western leaders have lately been worried if this will escalate into a full-blown nuclear war. However, Russia's TASS news agency said meanwhile that Russia would only use nuclear weapons if its very existence was threatened. Dalia Nilfor, SATV News Desk.
The Taliban ordered secondary girls' school in Afghanistan to shut Wednesday, just hours after they reopened, an official confirmed, sparking confusion over the policy reversal by the hardline Islamic group. Just fallen students back in class for the first time since the Taliban seized power in August last year tearfully packed up their belongings and filed out. The international community has made the rights to education for all sticking points in the negotiation over aid and recognition of the new Taliban regime. Now sports. Bangladesh and South Africa started their third and the final ODI of the series today. Day-night match at the Centurion started at 5 p.m. Bangladesh time. South Africa won the toss and elected to bat first. Bangladesh started the series with a win but stumbled in the second match. After losing by 7 wickets, Tamim's team has increased the weight in the series. This time, the Tigers have a mission to turn around. For the first time, Bangladesh wants to use the opportunity to win the series on the Proteas soil. Winning the first ODI in the Centurion will give confidence to Shakib and Tamim. All-rounder Mehdi Hassan Miraj is optimistic about the winning in the series. The Tigers have practiced for a long time on the day before the match. On the other hand, the unbeaten South Africans on home soil wants to maintain their winning streak. World number 1 Ash Barty has decided to retire from professional tennis at the age of 25 and at the peak of her game, citing the fulfillment of her tennis goals and fatigue with life on the tour. She retires with 15 titles less than 2 months after winning the Australian Open, her third Grand Slam singles triumph following the 2021 Wimbledon and 2019 French Open. It marks Barty's second retirement from the sport, having walked away from the game as a teenager in the late 2014 after becoming disaffected by the tour. She returned in 2016 and rose rapidly up the rankings. Before ending, we go through your Bangla City SATV News headlines again. During Army League tenors, the spread of mass media has increased, said Prime Minister confirmed National Film Award 2020. Titas proposes to increase grass price by 20%. BRC chairman calls for consideration of rationality in public hearing. Russia warns of nuclear weapons in case of crisis. Zelensky to address NATO summit tomorrow. Biden heads to Europe. We are up to date with our top stories so far in your Bangla City SATV News. And to know the latest in SATV News, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with us.